Hola, ciao, what's good? I am Kelly Paratelli. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And please take this moment to subscribe to my channel. It's free to subscribe by clicking on the red button. Hopefully you have a Google Gmail account or a YouTube app on your phone logged in through your Google Gmail that you can go in under your account and subscribe and like to these videos. That's how YouTubers get paid. That's how YouTubers grow. It would really help me a lot. It's free to do it. I already have an account already. It only takes a few seconds. If you're new, you would just have to create a Gmail or a Google account. Most people I know in the US have a Gmail or a Google account, but a lot of people I'm finding still do not. So I might create a video and tutorial about how to do that actually someday. Yeah, so please subscribe to my channel. It would help the algorithms. It would help me. Hit the red button, subscribe, show some support. It's free to do so, and get updates on all of my travel vlogging content. And there is going to be a link to my book Testimonials in the description of this video. Right now it is available through Barnes & Noble's link online. If you click on the link, it will allow you to ship anywhere in the world internationally for free. And my book is also available in Schuler's local independent bookstores in the state of Michigan. There are 4 locations in the state of Michigan for one of the only indie local bookstores that I'm aware of that is as big as Barnes & Noble in terms of sheer size of their stores and their inventory, except they are part of Ingram Sparks National Indie Independent Author Association, and they are locally, independently owned, still thriving and actually growing another store in Michigan as we speak. My book is on the stores of 2 of these local independent Schuler's bookstores right now in the Grand Rapids location, as well as Okemos, Michigan, outside of Lansing, which is the capital of Michigan. This book, Testimonials by Kelly Paratelli, is a compilation of poetry and non-fictional short stories that I've written throughout my life and compiled and written the introduction recently. The video that I'm making today is going to be about beautiful Cusco, Peru. Hello, hola, ciao, what's good? I am on day 2 in Cusco, and I've adjusted a little bit to the altitude. So I'm just sitting here on this beautiful day. The weather's very nice, as you can see. I'm at this beautiful church and basilica park, and I'm just people watching. It does say it on my shirt, but it's really small. But I'm wearing merchandise that I purchased in Peru. Lamitas is llamas or alpacas in Espanol. In Italiano, lamitas is how you say llamas. And I got this shirt when I was there, as well as this headband. Anybody who knows me knows I love headbands. And someone handmade this out of baby alpaca. Oh, bless the baby alpacas. I love the alpacas. I'm so sorry. But no, they made this out of baby alpaca, which is apparently some of the best, most high quality wool and material on earth, straight from real Peruvian mountains in Peru, outside of Cusco, which is the Sacred Valley lands, where I stayed for the majority of the time that I was in Peru. So I'm making this video today to talk about my time and my experience in Cusco, Peru. I did not go to any other big cities in the country of Peru besides Lima, which is the capital of Peru, where I went to only stay in the airport for the layovers there and back, and to transfer through customs in those airports while I was there. But the only city that I stayed the night in and explored the surrounding areas of was Cusco, Peru. And that square, that downtown of Cusco, Peru is so beautiful. It reminded me a lot of Europe because I've been to several countries in Europe. It reminded me of Canada, where I've been as well. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as like Europe and Canada as it actually was, especially in this square of Cusco. It was very nice, very well kept, very clean, very diverse, lots of shopping, lots of eating. So I'm eating Cantonese Peruvian chicken broth soup with bread and water, and I'm looking out at the view of Cusco that I have from my hotel. They eat a lot of Portuguese food, and they speak Portuguese here as well as Espanol. So this is a kind of Portuguese culture. Lots of outdoor activities, art, restaurants, things to do in the streets. And Hola. Hola. Ciao. A lot of markets, a lot of people coming up to you trying to sell you things, a lot of llamas, lamitas, and the hotel that I stayed in, I made another video for. It's called Jose Antonio Cusco. It's a part of Jose Antonio's chain hotels, but locally owned in South America and Europe. And it was a beautiful hotel, and I had a beautiful view of downtown Cusco looking into the square. There was mountains everywhere. It was at a very high altitude. Cusco is about 4,000 meters altitude, closer to 5 in some spots, which was the highest altitude I had ever been in on Earth, coming from Michigan's low, low, low. That was quite an adjustment. There's some videos I've already made about that. My Sacred Valley video is up. Please go like that video and view that video to support the algorithms and to support my channel. I'm new to YouTube and I'm trying to grow my channel, but I am not new to traveling. I am not new to vlogging. So although I'm new to YouTube and I'm asking for help in the beginning, especially to grow my channel and my algorithms by subscribing, liking, and viewing these videos as I grow momentum and grow my channel, I am not new to the content that I'm providing. I am not new to traveling, exploring, adventuring, writing, and telling great stories about what I've lived to learn. So stay tuned, and there will be many more beautiful travel videos to come. Cusco, Peru is a beautiful city. If you look on a map, it is within a 3-hour drive / bus ride to Machu Picchu, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, which I did go to, and I did take the bus and the train from Cusco to Machu Picchu. However, there's a city outside Machu Picchu called Aguas Calientes, which translate in English to hot waters, but that is the name of the city in Spanish and Espanol in Peru. That is the tourist city outside of Machu Picchu, and you can either stay in Aguas Calientes or you can go from Cusco like I did, but we'll get to that in another video because I have another video coming. Stay tuned. Specifically from my journey, vlogging my journey and video editing my journey from Cusco to Machu Picchu, which was quite a journey. But it was very beautiful. The people in Peru are so kind, so nice. Besides like the kind of a little bit of pushiness of people trying to sell you something, like I think I said the word no 100 some odd times to people because they weren't really taking no for an answer. And one thing about Cusco is that a lot of people try to come up to you and sell you things, so be careful. They're not really unfriendly, they're just kind of pushy about trying to sell you, oh please, please ma'am, do you want to buy something from me? Well, no, sorry, I'm just trying to enjoy my beautiful day in the sun. But besides that, there wasn't any animosity or hostility. There wasn't violence. People in Peru don't have guns like they do in the United States, so people aren't afraid to walk outside. It's kind of like Europe. It's just the culture to be outside, to walk a lot. I actually lost 8 pounds when I was in Cusco, Peru, just walking everywhere up and down the square, just from my hotel to the downtown and then up the hills because it is very hilly and mountainous. So I actually lost weight, and it kick-started a fitness journey for me to end up losing 17 pounds this year. So I love traveling, and that's one of the reasons why, because I love walking and staying active, and traveling almost always guarantees me, especially in Europe, Canada, and now I know South America, a way to lose weight. So that was a huge plus, especially since the food in Peru is so good. Peruvian food is arguably some of the best food on earth, and I'm Italian and I've been to Italy, so that's saying a lot. There are people all over the world, including the Italians, including my Italian cousins, and people that I've known from places in Latin America like Mexico, Cuba, which is a communist country, but I have friends who came here from Cuba, and they told me that South America, Peru specifically, this country has some of the best food on earth. The chicken I had, the meat, the rice, the potatoes. There is a kind of a lot of starches, but I did have some pasta, I did have some vegetables, I did have some fish. I don't eat a lot of red meat to begin with, so I didn't eat a lot of that. I thought about testing the alpaca, but I actually didn't because I met some of them and they were so cute and I just couldn't bring myself to eat them, even though I'm not a vegetarian at all. I'm not a vegan at all. I love cheese. I do eat meat, but I mostly only eat chicken and fish. I'm really not a big red meat person, especially in the United States. And if you live in the United States and you know about how poor the food quality is, especially with the red meat, you would know. If you've watched maybe 1 or 2 documentaries in your life, you would know. Yeah, anyway. So I don't eat a lot of red meat, but the food there, I did eat meat there. I think I didn't have steak, no. I still mostly had fish and chicken, but yeah, the food is so good. I have pictures on here to show you of the food that I ate. Authentic, local, fresh, delicious Peruvian food. Seriously, so good. The drinks were delicious. I mean, that's pretty indicative of many places in the world besides the US. Like, there's pros and cons everywhere, don't get me wrong. I've learned that through traveling. There's no one perfect place. But when it comes to food and food quality, the US is just internationally known, unfortunately, for not having good quality, fresh, local. I mean, all the genetically modified ingredients, all the fake things that they put, the acidity that they put in the foods, the preservatives. They put a lot of things in there. If you can't pronounce the ingredients, that's probably a good indication that you shouldn't be eating it. There's all kinds of places that are known for having like spectacular food. Italy is arguably one of the best on earth. And for South America, a lot of people have told me that Peruvian food is some of the best on earth. However, I myself have never been anywhere else in South America. I've only ever been to Peru, but I definitely want to go back because South America was beautiful and surpassed all my expectations in terms of how wonderful it was, how great the culture was, how beautiful the people were, how well they took care of their lands. They preserved their lands. They took such good care of their environment. It was evident. It was obvious. They were hand making all of these beautiful things. There was a lot of art and culture and a lot of history because South America is also part of the old worlds, right? Not like North America and the US, which is like quote unquote the new world. Cusco, Peru is on the map sort of in the shape of the Incan cross, which I actually have on right here. This is the Incan cross. I also got this when I was in technically Sacsayhuaman, which is right outside Cusco. And it has very special significance to the ancient Incan people. Religious, spiritual experience that I won't go too much into, but it means very much to me. Symbolizing the soul, again, the universal flame, which is on the cover of my book, but there are many symbols for it that are similar. This one is going back so much further than what they claim our human history even is in regards to holy books written by mostly men. No women were allowed to write. Anyway, this symbol is hugely important to these people. It has very holy significance to them. And it's people across the world who have sacrificed for love, similar to what they believe in Christian cultures. So this is basically saying that many souls have decided to sacrifice themselves over time throughout history in their culture for the sake of good of humanity and the world, and we're silent heroes in a way. So apparently this is going back decades and decades before they even knew about Christ, and some of them believe that Christ's soul came reincarnated into multiple bodies that looked multiple ways and did this saving humanity thing multiple times. I respect people's beliefs, but that's actually something that they told us, the tour guide told us, in Cusco and going to both the Sacred Valley and Machu Picchu. So this symbol was held in a very high regard to them. And it was something that I purchased in the city of Cusco along with my headbands, my earrings of the condor and the hummingbird. And actually the symbol is on this headband, the Incan cross. So this headband was handmade by real Peruvian people. It is the real Incan cross. It's all different bright, beautiful colors. I love headbands, so I bought the condor earrings and the hummingbirds. I bought the headband with the Incan cross. I bought the necklace of the white Incan cross. many other things while I was there, including this shirt, Lamitas, kind of like the Beatles. It says Machu Picchu in Cusco, Peru on the bottom. Anyway, I'm a total tourist, so I'm really happy I bought these things and I'm repping them in this video. Anyway, in Cusco, I wouldn't be afraid to ask anyone for directions or ask for help, but you do need to know a fair amount of Spanish because most average citizens do not speak English. The people at the hotel spoke English. The people in the touristy locations in the heart of the central square spoke English. The people in the restaurants serving food spoke English to some degree, here and there, bits and pieces, main phrases, but the majority of people, like even my taxi drivers and the majority of people in the streets, they did not speak very much English at all. So you have to have some knowledge of Spanish or go with someone who speaks Spanish, or maybe you'll have a tour guide the whole time. I don't like being with a tour guide the whole time. I like to do my own thing. So, you know, you have to have some, it is good to have some Spanish speaking phrases down. You know, yo hablo en español means I speak Spanish. ¿Cómo estás means how are you? Yo quiero ir a la parque means I want to go to the park. Yo necesito un taxi is I need a taxi. ¿Cuánto cuesta means how much is that? There's little bits and pieces of Spanish like me gusta viajar. I like to travel. When people were asking me why I was there and what I was doing, I don't know how to say vlogging in Spanish. Como se dice means how do you say? So I would ask people like, como se dice camera, vlogging, things like that. And, you know, how do you say this and that in Spanish? And then they would help me. And, you know, sometimes I would forget at the end, but sometimes I would remember and I would be able to go and advocate for myself. But I speak enough Spanish to be able to do that. So it's good to have at least some basic words and phrases, I would say, in Spanish and Espanol. So you need to speak at least a little bit of Spanish. I would say to navigate your way through, you know, ordering at restaurants, getting taxis, going to tourist locations, especially since there's a lot of walking and people come up to you in the streets trying to sell you stuff and talk to you all the time, a lot, really. There's a lot of beautiful architecture, there's a lot of beautiful restaurants, there's a lot of beautiful people, there's a lot of beautiful art. In every country there is always a McDonald's. Here in Peru, Cusco, there's the McDonald's. The Golden Arches from America are literally everywhere. Actually, one of my traveling friends has a thing where she tries McDonald's in every country. It's kind of a fun thing to do. There's a lot of tapestries. There's a lot of things being made by hand. It's really beautiful. They have a gigantic market. I've never seen a market that big in my life. I've never seen that much outdoor shopping with just things like as far as the eye can see, just stuff everywhere. I've never really seen markets like that. It's weird because they're on the other side of the equator, and I learned there that that is actually their, I went in the summer, I went in August, and that's actually their winter. So I was like, oh, opposite land, totally weird, to like kind of wrap your mind around it. But it's actually, from here where I live in Michigan, it's only a 1 hour time difference. Like when you go to Europe, it's a 6 or 7 hour time difference, and you're crossing the Atlantic. So when you go to Europe from the US, it's a huge jet lag to your mind and your body. Going south across below the equator, for us US citizens up here in North America, it's an adjustment in altitude, but not the time. Like I could call my family from Peru in the US and it was only a 1 hour difference. Whereas my cousins in Italy, it's a 6 hour difference. But yeah, I did another video already on the altitude, so I won't go too far into that, but it's definitely real, and I just want people to know. I don't want to scare people from going. That's not my intention by telling you that the altitude is real. I don't want to scare people out of traveling because I think there's a lot of fear in the world. So I don't want to scare people out of doing something that they truly love and want to do, or that they'd be really good at. I don't want to discourage people from vlogging and traveling and documenting their journeys and taking the leap to be brave and go somewhere new that you've never been. I want people to ignore what other people say and find out for themselves, because that's how I am, and that's how I've learned the best possible lessons in life. That's how the best, most beautiful things have come to me in life, is not listening to the majority. You can take those things into consideration, you can learn from them. It's good to hear other people's stories and perspectives, but at the end of the day, you want to know for yourself. You want to have lived it, experienced it, breathed it for yourself. So I don't want to scare people out of going when I talk about the altitude, but it can be a very real thing for people. What I did is I watched other YouTubers stories about it, other vlogs, other travel memoirs and writings about it, and what people said and their tips and tricks and things that they learned to adjust. But I just wanted to let people know that it's real. It's not my intent to scare people. But yeah, Cusco has a lot of historical significance. It's high in spiritual energy. The Incan cross on the map, they say the Holy Lands, the Sacred Valley, encompasses the area around the city of Cusco. And if you were to place this symbol, the Incan cross, on a map over the city of Cusco, it would encompass and cover all of the Holy Lands, including Sacsayhuaman, Cristo Blanco, the White Cross, the Sacred Valley lands surrounding, and Machu Picchu all surrounding, and the Rainbow Mountain all surrounding Cusco. They all formulate the Sacred Valley Holy Lands around the city of Cusco, and Cusco is basically that tiny little dot on the map. When you place this symbol, which is their Incan cross, on the map, it encompasses and covers this whole area that they consider sacred holy lands. It's fascinating, and they say it's all rich in spiritual, natural energy from the earth and potentially somewhere else. So it's just crazy because that's what they tell you in the tours. But yeah, so the city is really beautiful. Like, we went in a couple churches, we went in a lot of shops. I got this beautiful Peruvian silver there.
So I bought myself a ring. It's real Peruvian silver that they make in Peru, which is supposed to be even higher quality than real sterling silver, which the real sterling silver is my Claudia ring that I wear every day, and my Hope ring that I wear every day. These are real sterling silver, but you can see that this is an even like silverier color. It's like brighter because it's like 9.5 pure silver. And everywhere else is, most sterling silver is like 9 point. So it's really high quality. It was kind of expensive, but it's my treat to myself because I've been wanting another ring, and now I can say that I got real Peruvian silver from a country, Peru, that is literally inside my name, Peru.
The Tree of Life ring I now wear, and my other ring here that symbolizes the earth, in my opinion, and the bodily elements that go into the planet Earth that we live on, that make us who we are and balance the masculine, feminine elements of the earth, water, fire, air, wind, earth, air, fire, water. They call it the Incan cross in English, but they have a whole nother Incan language, and people still were speaking that ancient Incan language. So in Cusco, Peru, the primary language is Spanish. The second language is probably Portuguese, then their ancient Incan language, and then English. So people who speak English as their native language need to learn some Spanish, because Spanish is number one, and Spanish is the second most spoken language on earth. You know, in a lot of places like South America and Europe, they don't have venues for art, for music, for concerts, for comedy, for things like that that we all love in the US and in Canada, kind of, to be able to go do and see, when we can just buy tickets to something whenever we want to go see an artist, we can just buy tickets. They don't have venues like that, like arenas or a big concert venue. They don't have that like that in other parts of the world like Europe and South America. So what you'll see is you'll see a lot of people in places like South America and Europe who are doing live art and entertainment outside. And you're like, you know, if you're a tourist and you're coming into those cities and you're seeing people performing and with a hat, you know, asking for change, for money for their performance, or they're dancing around and singing in the street, various forms of live entertainment. Spoken word, instruments being played, stories being told, people dancing and singing. So, you know, there's all kinds of things like that, and it makes a tourist from another country be like, wow, art is so prevalent in these other countries, when in reality, they actually don't have venues, so that's why they're doing things outside. Like, it's just set up differently than we do. They rely heavily on public transit. Their tax money goes towards public transit, towards the environment, towards good quality food for everyone. So that's just kind of the way it is. But it doesn't mean the art's not prevalent. It just means that it's kind of like displayed differently.
A general who souls triumph when battling. They know in the north and the south that as a warrior I'm.
Music. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that stuff in the streets. You're gonna see things being sold. You're gonna see markets. You're gonna see a lot of people walking outside. You know, US is very much about driving a car. As Europe, there's tons of people with less cars, less driving, less roads, and it's all more condensed together. So people are like more on top of each other, not as on top of each other as they are in Asia, where there's billions with a B amounts of people. You know what I'm saying? The population of the US is like 350 million right now, give or take. And in China, it's 1.4 billion with a B. Okay, Europe and South America are somewhere in between. So it's still more condensed than the US and Canada. There's still less driving, more public transit, and people walking everywhere. And I'm a power walker, so I'm walking on the streets. you know, I'd be in and out around people, swerving around people, like playing Pac-Man or something like that, like how I shop at the grocery store. You know, you really gotta pay attention, I would say, because even though gun violence is not prevalent in these countries like it is in the US, they just don't have as many guns. There's not street violence like there is in the US, so to speak, but there is pickpocketing. There is people stealing and trying to kind of manipulate you or persuade you at times to get you to buy things, you know, so you just kind of have to stay aware, awake, and alert, because you are on your feet a lot more. You're not just able to get in the car, get right out in the parking lot and go in somewhere conveniently and then get right back in the car like you are in the US. You're really gonna have to walk a lot, but it's good because you're eating healthy food and then you're burning it off and you feel active, your mind is clear, you have adequate nutrition, you feel good. In these other countries, at least I have, that's my experience, and a lot of other people I know have said this. Cusco is like a very touristy city. So side note, just so people know, in the US, you never have to pay to use the bathroom in a public place. You can just go into any gas station or cafe and use the bathroom. But in places like Europe and South America, you either have to be paying already as a customer to eat in a restaurant to use the bathroom for free, or you have to pay to use the bathroom in a public place. So, for instance, here I had to pay 1 solé to use the public bathroom, and in Europe you usually have to pay 1 or 2 euros to use the public bathroom. So it's hardly ever free, unless you're already staying in a hotel or already eating in a restaurant. In Peru, because Machu Picchu is near it, because the Sacred Valley is near it, because the Rainbow Mountain is near it, like if you look up top attractions and tourist attractions in Peru, most of them are around and surrounding the city of Cusco itself. So there are squares set up for buses, transportation, and individual car rides and taxis and buses mostly, big vans kind of like looking like Amazon vans or UPS trucks or something like that, that just fill with people to take you to the tourist locations, to take you to Machu Picchu, to take you to the train to get to Machu Picchu, to take you to the airport, to take you to the train stations, the metros, and all these tourist spots that are in the surrounding areas of Cusco. So yeah, there's gonna be days where there's squares full of people early in the morning at like 5, 6, 7 in the morning, maybe earlier, because like for Rainbow Mountain and Machu Picchu, you have to get up at like 3 or 4 and they pick you up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, just to get to the 3-hour the bus ride, 3-hour bus ride to the train, just to get to the train, to get to the city, to get up to the tourist location that you still have to walk to and climb. So it's good to be active, it's good to stay fit, it's good to eat healthy, it's good to take care of yourself, pay attention to the altitude, because you are going to be, you know, moving, you're going to be very active. Cusco is very lit, it's a very busy city. It's not even the largest in population, so again, Lima's #1, and then I think Arequipa is #2 in population. My cousins in Italy told me, because they went to Arequipa, I didn't, and I want to go back to Peru for sure someday, and I want to go to Arequipa. Yeah, so Cusco I think is the 3rd largest in population, but it's the biggest tourist location because, again, Machu Picchu, the Sacred Valley lands, the Rainbow Mountain, and all these other things, Sacsayhuaman, all these things are surrounding this one city. So it does have its own airport in Cusco, but it's a very small airport. They don't even have shops, tiendas, no nothing. It's only vending machines and bathrooms in this Cusco airport. They did say they were trying to renovate it when I was there and try to expand it and make it bigger, but it's very small compared to the Lima airport, which resembles something, as I showed in my other videos, like something you would find in Europe or the US or Canada, to be honest. But the one in Cusco is kind of like, oh, am I in a second world country? Not necessarily like it's not nice or anything. It's just like they don't even have stores. You can't even buy like ibuprofen, you know? And in the US, you buy ibuprofen over the counter like it's candy, and in other countries it's like illegal to do it. But anyway, side note. So the airport in Cusco is very small, and you feel like, you know, you're not in Kansas anymore. So yeah, anyway, so again, the currency in Cusco is soles. I said this in one of my other videos. The ATMs were charging about a $10 fee to take money out, but they do have them on the main strips. You have to be careful getting money out. Maybe just be aware of your surroundings when you're getting money out in a public place like that. seems like common sense, but when you're constantly on your feet and you're walking, it's just kind of something to be aware of, especially if you're looking like a tourist. That's when the people might come up to you and try to pickpocket you or try to sell you things because they know you either might not speak good Spanish or you're just not a local. So that's always something to be aware of when you're a traveler anyway, and you just learn that over time and you hear stories. So Cusco is so beautiful, really. I was so impressed by this city. It's so well kept, so clean, so diverse, so beautiful, so historical, so much history, so much life and color, beautiful colors, you know, bright, beautiful colors like this everywhere, beautiful handmade jewelry and items and pieces of art. We went to the museum in downtown Cusco. We went to a college. We walked around all the shops and restaurants. We went up and down the hills. You know, we hiked, we climbed. I went by myself a couple of days and I went with my Italian cousins and we had a great time. We ate great food. It was a really good experience. So I highly recommend Cusco. Again, I definitely want to go back to Peru and South America. I want to go to Ecuador. I want to go to Bolivia. I want to go to Chile, and I want to go to Brazil. So, and I definitely want to go back to Peru because I honestly could go back to Machu Picchu and the Sacred Valley lands again, and I still want to go to the Rainbow Mountain, which I did not do. So I'm telling you right now, I will be back to Cusco. It's that, like, there's still tons of places on my bucket list that I still haven't been and still want to go and still want to see, but it's that, it was that magical, like, it was that beautiful, that I'm definitely going back. Anyway, thanks for being here. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video for the algorithms. Please spread the word that Kelly Paratelli is now travel vlogging and will be continuing this YouTube channel. Peace, love, and respect to you all. Ciao.